I never could have imagined that the woman I married, the woman I envisioned growing old with, would one day look me dead in the eyes and casually say, "I deserve to date other men." It wasn't born from a heated argument, nor was it after a drunken rant. It was on a Saturday morning, a simple breakfast of pancakes and coffee, and the words fell from her lips like it was a trivial request, as if she were asking me to pass the syrup. Her name is Belle and we had been married for 8 years. No kids, just us facing life's challenges together. We'd been through our share of highs and lows, but nothing could have prepared me for the moment when she said that. I sat there, frozen, fork halfway to my mouth and asked, "You're joking, right?" She shook her head, cold and calm, and replied, "No. I've been reading, listening to podcasts. I've been feeling suffocated. Monogamy isn't natural. I think I want to experience more variety, even if we're still married." I stared at her, not understanding. "You want to date other men while still being married to me?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah," she said, sipping her coffee. "You either accept it or you leave me. Your choice." No apology. No guilt. It was as if it was some noble declaration of self-discovery, and I was just collateral damage in her personal journey. But I didn't argue, not that day. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't even tell my friends. Instead, I nodded and said simply, "Okay." That okay wasn't surrender, it was strategy. For the next 2 weeks, I played the part of the supportive husband. I cooked dinner. I laughed at her jokes. I watched as she became more confident, more smug, as if she had finally liberated herself. I watched her change, her smile more triumphant, as if I had somehow failed to see the new her. And then it happened. One night she told me she had a date. Thursday night, she said, barely hiding her excitement. "He's a photographer, artistic, sensitive. You'll love him," she added. I didn't ask any questions. I said, "Have fun." I even offered to pick up dessert for when she came home. She left that night in a low-cut black dress I hadn't seen in years, her lipstick bright and bold, her hair curled, the version of her I once cherished, now heading out to impress someone else. She thought I would stay home, nursing a beer in silent jealousy. But I wasn't at home. I was already downtown. What Belle didn't know was that during those 2 weeks, I hadn't been soaking in my pain, I'd been preparing. I'd tracked her favorite new podcast hosts. I'd gone through her social media, matching usernames to comments. I'd found out about the photographer she was meeting, a guy named Jason. 38, vegan. Runs a community art space. I even managed to figure out the exact cafe where they were meeting because, get this, she used my Gmail to make the reservation. Amateur move. I arrived 20 minutes early, found a quiet corner booth, and sat with my head low, wearing sunglasses. I watched as Jason walked in, smiling and laughing loudly as Belle giggled and touched his arm. For 2 hours, I sat there unseen, heart pounding in my chest, collecting every detail. His mannerisms, the way they looked at each other, the way she lit up in his presence. When they finally left, I didn't follow them. I left quietly, calmly, without a sound. But I didn't head home. I drove to her mother's house. Now, Belle's mother was someone she worshipped. A church-going, conservative woman who thought I was the best thing that ever happened to her daughter. And I had prepared a folder, a detailed folder, with screenshots, text messages, audio from that fateful breakfast, and even a brief video clip I'd taken of Belle and Jason at the cafe. When her mother opened the door, I smiled politely and handed her the folder. "Why are you showing me this?" she asked. I responded quietly, "Because Belle's going to come to you eventually. She'll spin the story, tell you that I didn't love her enough, that I was too jealous. But I want you to know the truth before she feeds you any lies." I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just walked away. The final step came when I packed my bags. All of them. I took my car, canceled the joint credit cards, and moved into a temporary apartment I had already set up in my name. I left her a note on the kitchen table. "You said I should accept it or leave. You were right. I choose to leave. Enjoy your freedom. Andrew." Belle came home around 11 p.m. to an empty house. No note on the fridge. No husband waiting up. Just that message and the silence she never expected. The next morning I muted my phone. By afternoon she was calling me from every number she could think of, her mother's, her best friends. Her voice shook as she left voicemail after voicemail, begging me to talk to her. "Please, I didn't mean for this to happen," she said. "You just left." Yes, I left. And I didn't leave because I couldn't compete with some photographer. I left because once someone tells you to either accept betrayal or walk away, it's clear they don't love you. They love what you give them. A week later, I saw her in the grocery store parking lot. She looked thinner, tired. She tried to smile but it was weak. "I've been thinking," she said, "maybe I was wrong?" I nodded. "Maybe," I said, and I walked away. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't yelling. It's letting them taste the emptiness they created.